So this is my day by the wall. I do have a strong interest in modern history and in particular the Cold War, so this was a interesting but yet still sombre day, but man, it was interesting. This is the Berlin Wall Memorial. This is an original piece of the Berlin Wall that was left there to be used as a memorial. What you walk into, so what I'm standing in now, was what was called the death strip of the Berlin Wall. So where I started the video, I would have been on the Old West, and I am now in the East, but it was the death strip of the East.
I was then loaded into the so-called taxi, without handles on the inside of the doors, and driven to the responsible police station.
These pieces were from the original wall. This section is the Wall of Remembrance, with a picture of everybody that died as a result of the wall.
Günther Litvin, 24 Jahre, erschossen am 24. August 1961.
Günther Litvin, 24. Fatal accident on the 22nd of August, 1961.
Where we are stood before the wall was built was an old cemetery. The red bricks that were inshot there were the old foundations for the cemetery. They would have been covered over in sand or muck when the death strip was there. The cemetery was not only split in half, but being that it was so close to the wall, up until the end of the wall, you would need special clearance to go into the graveyard to visit graves and the such like. This section of the wall would have been the inner wall. As I said, I would have been standing in what was the death strip. The red brick would have been the original foundations for the cemetery. The plastic covering the concrete with the wires and the hole there would have been the lights that would have lit up the death strip and the wall. The concrete is an original watchtower from the Berlin Wall. The concrete slabs on the floor are from the original street before the wall. This all would have been covered by, well, sand originally, and then there was lots of different weapons and arsenal to stop people if you did ascend the wall. I probably shouldn't be blasé about that. That would include landmines, barbed wire, trip fences, and above all else, people would shoot to kill. When the cemetery was ripped up to make way for the wall and the death strip, they're not sure if the bodies were exhumed, and there were bodies from the World War II, and the cross there was to remember those people. the brick wall then was a recreation of the old cemetery wall, and if you see the double cobbles on the floor, that represents where the wall lay. The circular dishes is somebody that died because of the wall, and the plaque that was on the floor there as well, if you can read it, you're in the old west side. If it's upside down, you're in the east. That's the cemetery again, straight ahead. And again, this would have been the inner wall, and behind that wall they have recreated what the death strip would have looked like. That is that big building is to recreate a watchtower, and that's the old death strip. You can see the wall in front of that church. That was the Church of Reconciliation. It lay just inside the grounds of the east, and its parish was predominantly in the west, so it wasn't used, and then it was used as a watchtower for GDR officials. The church was knocked down the day I was born, and when it was knocked down, this fell from the church. It was saved and hidden away, and it was donated back. This is original foundations for the church that was knocked down. And the chapel of Reconciliation, which was the circular building, was built there. These are all from the church that was knocked down. And straight ahead is another piece of the wall. This is the death strip that I used my camera to look over before. I noticed there was an aerial vantage point, which makes sense. If you are interested in all this, and if you get the S-Bahn to the station for here, you get off at Hoppenhof. That's probably wrong. That's inside that picture. That's just to I just put that in because it's worth going to see there, because the underground stations were the first people that knew about the wall when it was being built in 1961, because they were stopped, and it's quite interesting down there. This is the DDR museum. I don't take much footage inside museums because I don't, but this is really good if you're into all this. This was really interesting. It was really busy because it's Easter holidays, but this is a reconstruction of an old East German home. And I never realised that Bruce Springsteen played East Germany in 1988. He is the boss. From there I went over to the East Side Gallery, which is the longest stretch of the Berlin Wall that remains. And I kind of thought, well, it's not that long really, is it? It's more than long enough. And it is really cool, really interesting. I had a great day. I thought all this was really interesting, but I appreciate quite into it. But it's somewhere I've always wanted to go, and I found it better than I thought. Better. It's weird. You can't really say positive things, I guess, can you? But really interesting. I found it absolutely fascinating. As you get through the East Side Gallery, and the other side is the actual gallery, it's really interesting. I'm not into art really, other than music, and I found it really interesting. But maybe it's just me. I thought it was really good, and I walked down. I filmed quite a bit of the different arts there. I am interested to know where this lock thing came from. I don't know where it starts, but everywhere I go there's locks. I don't know. And I always film it. But I don't know why. I think it's silly, but maybe I don't. Just the other side of the East Side Gallery is this museum. This is the Wall Museum. The lady said, how did you know about us? So I don't know if they don't get a lot of people, but it's really good. Really interesting again. This is a balcony for the people that died in that river there. That's the Spree River. Numerous times children were playing on the banks and they fell into the water, but as it was on one side was the west, one side was the east. Neither side went into the water to save the kids until it was too late, and it happened quite a few times. And then they ended up having to make a pact for people that were drowning in neutral water. It's crazy. Some of the waters had grills in as well to stop people swimming across. This is the Wall. There was a big gig in 1989. It's a very popular album by Pink Floyd. If you aren't familiar with the album, stick Nobody's Home on. People will overlook that song off that album. There's a hidden gem for you. You didn't expect that. That's an original piece of the Wall. Again, the double cobbles represent where the wall once lay. It does often go into buildings. So the building, this is Potsdamer Platz. That's my best German accent. This is an old watchtower for the GDR. I didn't know you could do this. The woman that you can see at the steps has lots of pictures of the area and of this watchtower, and goes into a bit of detail what was going on in the area and what things were here at the time. You have to go up that crickety ladder. It's not crickety, it's very solid, but I want to milk it. And people would do 8-hour shifts in here, looking out those windows, ready to shoot people that were trying to escape, which is bonkers. And I had a slight panic attack up here about going back down. Bless me, I don't know what happened. It was the first step, but here I'm having a bit of a panic attack. But thank you for watching this. I had a great day. Always wanted to go to Berlin. It is awesome.